Good morning, students. Let's just begin the lecture. The information is this is class 9 subject English. We are reading book Beehive, and this is lesson number 2. Right, everyone? Lesson number 2 is the sound of music, and we are going to complete the second part 2, and this is lecture number 1 of part 2. That means, like students, we completed part 1, and this is what we are going to start part 2, right? What is the part 2 name is, that is the title is The Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. You can remember that Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. What we understand about this, we are going to read about a sort of instrument, that is Shehnai, which was related to Bismillah Khan. But how it is related to Bismillah Khan, that we need to understand. Before you read what we get here, do you know these people, what instruments do they play? See, students, you can see the picture before you on the screen. Some of the musicians or some of the people who are playing some different sorts of musical instruments. The author, the writer, that is unanimous actually. We aren't familiar, that's not given in the book. They're asking, do you know these people? What instruments do they play? These all are the musical instruments. And do you know, you need to find out these people's name and the instruments they are playing. When we go with the question answers session, there I'll discuss these with you people. Let's go next. Think of the Shehnai, and the first thing you'll probably imagine is a wedding or a seminar occasion or function. The narrator is talking to us. If you ever think of Shehnai, you'll first get to know or imagine, like you would think about weddings, because see, in the present scenario, this Shehnai is not used actually, but in the movies we saw this. This instrument used to be played in the old times, like before 40 or 50 years back, right, in a proper way, in the functions or weddings or the occasions, any sort of parties were there. The next would probably be Ustad Bismillah Khan. And if you think about the Shehnai, you must think about Ustad Bismillah Khan, who invented this actually. The Shehnai Mastrio playing this instrument. And you'd see this Shehnai, which one is the Shehnai instrument in the pictures, which one is played by the Mastrio. Mastrio refers to the expert or the master of Shehnai, master of uh, Shehnai. Students, at the end, I'll take the attendance of the class. That means you need to remain. When I just complete this reading, 4 or 5 paragraphs, then I'll take the attendance. If you want your attendance to be marked, be present in the class. So let's just see what we see the next. Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of a musical instrument called pungi. So students, what we find that the text starts, what we get here the author is talking about Emperor Aurangzeb, who was the ruler basically in that particular time. He banned the playing of a musical instrument called pungi. There was a musical instrument which was called pungi, and this was used in the royal residence for it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. Shrill means very sharp, very unpleasant, which gives the sort of pain to the ears. Then the in Aurangzeb just banned this playing of pungi, and pungi became the generic name for reeded noise makers. And what we understand here, the pungi basically, which was used by the people in the old times, this became the generic name. Generic refers a name given to a class or group as a whole. Let me tell you, if you take the example of pharmaceutical industries, and if they just invent or try to research on any sort of disease, and they develop the vaccines, like you see the vaccines of COVID-19. So it is given the name actually, and that complete name is called the generic name, which refers to the class or the group as whole. So this pungi was given such a name which was used just to create the noise only. This instrument was just taken as the noise maker, not the music. This instrument could not produce the music, could not entertain the people. It just created the noise only. And it got. This is what the author want to make us understand. Few had thought that it would one day be revived. Now, you see, students, I just try to do this for you people if possible. This refers like revive, basically. You can see this revived refers like will be changed. There will be some sort of change in the instrument, and would be made in a different way actually. Let me just select this. What can I do basically? Okay, one day would be revived means would be changed. That's what, there will be a sort of change. People were just thinking this is the noise maker, and one day what will happen? This will become a sort of, we can say, like good instrument for the listening to the people. Now the next one is a barber of a family. Barber of a family of professional musicians. The author is talking about a barber who cuts the hairs basically, and they were the professional musicians, all the family members actually, who had access to the royal palace. Royal palace means where the royalties used to live, the king or the queens like Aurangzeb at that time decided to improve the tonal quality of the pongi. A barber basically who decided to improve the tonal quality of the pungi. He decided to improve the tonal quality basically. He made a determination that he wanted to improve the quality of its sound, and that would be produced. He chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem. Chose a pipe with a natural hollow. Hollow refers students the empty space inside. Hollow means inside it was all empty. The pipe basically chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem. Hollow refers to the empty space inside that was longer and broader than the pungi. In the length, it was longer and broader than the pungi basically, and made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. Now you can imagine the pipe basically, and this barber basically made 7 holes on the pungi of on the pipe basically. 7 holes were created there to just he was just trying to invent a sort of different musical instrument. When he played on it, After just inventing this like hollow stem pipe and put some five, six or seven holes given there, seven holes on it. When he played on it, when he started playing this device, closing and opening some of these holes, you can understand seven holes were created on the body of this hollow stem pipe. And when he started playing this, he just closing and opening some of the holes basically while just producing the sort of sound. Soft and melodious sounds were produced. Soft and melodious means very entertaining, enjoyable, good to listen sound was produced. He played the instrument before a royalty. I hope that you all can understand. I hope wait a student. Wait a minute, I just need to check something. Internet is creating a little problem in that. Giving an indication actually. So he played the instrument before a royalty, and everyone was impressed. Here, what we need to understand, the instrument which was played, which was just invented by a barber. He played the instrument before royalty, means the royal people, and everyone was impressed. You can see the picture of Pungi as well as Shehnai. So the people who were listening in the court of the royalty, they were quite impressed. The instrument, so different from the Pungi, had to be given a new name. And now the instrument was just invented or created by the barber. Now people decided to give it a name. The name basically, all right, all right, students, let's just continue. The instrument, so different from the pungi, had to be given a new name. What we understood, like the people who were listening this instrument, they decided that this instrument should be given the name. As the story goes, as we read the story, since it was first played in Shah's chamber, I think you can understand what does it mean. In Shah's chamber, this is like Shah, and this instrument was played, this Shah word, and was played by a Nai. Nai means in Hindi it used to be Nai, but in English we call it a barber. But at that time it was referred like Hindi word. Shah and Nai. The instrument was named the Shahnai. You all can understand this. Shah word taken from like the royalties people, and Nai is the barber. That's why they called it Shahnai. The name became very good as taken by the people who were there. See, the sound of the Shehnai began to be considered auspicious. Now you see this word auspicious refers like promising to bring good fortune, means the things will take place in future will be good enough, fortunate. The sound of the Shehnai began to be considered. People who ever listened Shehnai, they considered it. They paid heed on it that this is the auspicious sound. And for this reason, it is still played in the temples and is an indispensable component of any North Indian weddings. Then, when people started considering it like this is the auspicious sound or the music, they started using it in the temples, and in some of the times, maximum at that time, but in some of the times today also, the Shehnai is used in the North Indian weddings also. In the past, the Shehnai was part of the Nobat or traditional ensemblance of nine instruments found at royal courts, right? So what we understand actually here, there in the Shah's chambers, like there were some of the traditional, we call it like instruments were there, or like now Ratan जिनको हम लोग बोलते हैं, it was the ninth basically of nine instruments found at royal court, like in the royal court with the royal people, like we got there the name Aurangzeb in his court. Nine ratans were there, or stars you can call in English. This one was given the ninth stage or ninth name basically. This was the ninth basically, nine instrument found at royal courts. Till recently it was used only in temples and weddings, but now you see later on it just was used in the temples and weddings, means marriage ceremonies or any sort of functions are taking place. This Shehnai was supposed to be used by the people instead of Pungi, that we need to understand. All right, students. So we're just discussing like people started using it in the weddings as well as all the sort of functions take place at the homes or like in the temples. It was supposed to be used by the people. The credit for bringing this instrument onto the classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. Now you see, Ustad Bismillah Khan, the name of the person who brought this instrument on the classical stage. Classical stage means on the front before the people across India or across world. The complete credit goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan, who got the recognition to this instrument across the country among the people. As a 5-year-old, Bismillah Khan played Gilli Danda near a pond in the ancient estate of Dumrao in Bihar. Now you see what we are going to see or listen, we are going to read out about Bismillah Khan's childhood as well as his initiatives for learning this music. How did he learn the playing of this Shehnai? When Bismillah Khan was 5 year old, he used to play Gilli Danda near the pond of in the ancient estate of Dumrao is the name of the estate or the state you can say in Bihar. State refers like to the district in Bihar state. He would regularly go to the nearby Bihariji temple to sing the Bhojpuri Cheta. The Cheta is a sort of hymn, Hime, or you call it like bhajan जिसको हम लोग बोलते हैं students in Bihari. So he used to go to the temple. There he used to sing some sort of cheta, at the end of which he would earn a big laddu. And after finishing this, his all sort of activities at the temple, he used to get a sort of laddu weighing 1.25 kg, जिसको हम लोग बोलते हैं 1.25 किलो का लड्डू जो होता है. A prize given by the local Maharaja. There used to be a local Maharaja who used to give him this laddu. This happened 80 years ago. And now what we got, this was 80 years. And the little boy had traveled far to earn the highest civilian award in India. India's highest civilian award is Bharat Ratna. After 80 years of this day, he earned this. India's highest civilian award, that's called Bharat Ratna, means after 80 years of this day, he earned this award. How this, we just need to understand how this all took place. Born on 21 March 1916, Bismillah belongs to a well-known family of musicians from Bihar. Now, the author is just making us a bit familiar about the Bismillah Khan's family and belongings basically. He was born on 21st March 1916, and that belonged to well-known family of musicians means in his family, that was from Bihar, all the family members were musicians. The family was called the musicians family at that time. His grandfather Rasul Burks Khan was the Shehnai Nawaz of the Bhojpur King's Court. So his grandfather, the grand, grandfather of Bismillah Khan used to play Shehnai at that time in King's Court, and his father Pegambar Bucks. Now, see, students, you need to just memorize these names. These names can be put in the single questions or like in the objective type of questions. For that, you need to be familiar. And other paternal ancestors were also great Shehnai players. Means the other family members like cousins or like close by to the family members or the family members, right? So they all were the Shehnai players or used to play Shehnai at different places, all the family members. The young boy took to music early in life. In the early life means at the early stage of his life, like 3 years or 4 years, at the age of three, when his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house. Now, what we understand, students, like when he was 3 years old, Bismillah Khan, his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house in Banaras. Now we call it Varanasi basically. So he went with his mother to his maternal uncle's house. Bismillah was fascinated watching his uncles practice the Shehnai. Fascinated means like he was quite interested or taking interest when his maternal uncle used to practice playing Shehnai at that time basically. Soon Bismillah started accompanying his uncle, and what happened basically within a short span of time, he started going with his uncle for learning the playing of Shehnai. Ali walks to with Ali Bak's uncle name to the Vishnu temple of Banaras where Bucks was employed to play the Shehnai. Now the Bucks was employed there to play the Shehnai basically in the Vishnu temple, and Bismillah Khan started going with him. Ali Baks would play the Shehnai and Bismillah would sit captivated. Captivated means a student feeling very interested or like having very deep interest in anything. Captivated means captured by the sort of sounds produced by Shehnai there in the temple. And for hours he used to sit there to listen the music. Slowly he started getting lessons in playing, and gradually and slowly he also started playing the Shehnai and started taking the lessons that how to operate or how to play this instrument, and would sit practicing throughout the day. And entire day he used to practice of playing this Shehnai. For years to come, the temple of Balaji and Mangla Maya and the banks of the Ganga became the young apprentice's favorite haunts where he could practice in solitude. Now, let me just make it clear to you, the students, he used to practice at Balaji's temple, Mangla Maya's temple, and the banks of the Ganga river, basically, of the Ganga. He used to go to the bank side by the river, and there he used to practice. Apprentice means sort of a person who does practice. Favorite haunts, you can underline this, students. Haunts refer to a particular place where you regularly or like frequently visit. That is called haunts, where he could practice in solitude. And solitude refers like alone, individual. So at these places, Bismillah Khan used to go alone and used to practice alone of playing this instrument called Shehnai, right everyone? So this was his source of like making himself master of playing this instrument Shehnai inspired him, and the flowing water of Ganga inspired him to improvise and invent rags. Now you can understand how deeply he practiced of playing this instrument. What we found there that by the flowing of the water of Ganga, he just improvised or invent the rags basically, rags of the Shehnai that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of the Shehnai. Earlier, before just inventing Bismillah Khan, people used to think that these sorts of rags cannot be created or produced by the Shehnai, cannot be played by the Shehnai. But Bismillah Khan made this happen by the hard work, dedication to just become a master of this very different sort of instrument, right? Then he just produced some very different sort of rags or sounds of the music of Shehnai to the people, which was considered to be very like tough or very difficult to be produced or played by the Shehnai. So see students, that's enough for today's lecture. Rest will read tomorrow in the lecture. If any one of you wants to ask anything, you can now raise your hand and I'll just try to help you out to sort out the problem. Okay, thank you very much.